I do understand like you dating somebody and then you guys having sex, but just to randomly just constantly keep having sex with multiple people back to back to back to back, that's excessive.
That's not a whole
That's a
phase.
definition
not
of
a
a
whole
whole
phase.
phase.
Having a
That's the
boyfriend
definition of a
not-
whole phase. They
that's
just
not a whole
explained
phase.
it
is
in
sleeping
great
with multiple
detail.
people after back to back to back and sleeping with whoever, whenever,
No,
whatever.
that's not a whole
That's a
phase.
whole phase.
They literally
Wow.
They
describe
just
what
described
they
it.
call
But those women, the collective
No.
women,
Nah,
the collective.
no.
If you were to bring other women,
But it all makes sense though. Even like when I think about myself, my mother's an ordained minister. So when I sit here and listen to what everybody's saying, we all have that common ground where church was in our household. So maybe that's where our shame towards each other
Sure.
starts coming out.
Like, you can't shame people out of being sexual.
Right.
Like, that's just not, it's not gonna work.
Do you think it's necessary to have a whole phase throughout
Oh,
your
yeah.
life?
Yes,
within your
yeah.
life?
You
Yes,
do.
I
I
had,
agree on
listen,
that.
I had been with this guy for 5 years, so I wasn't really having sex with a lot of people. And so for one summer, I said, I'm gonna do whatever I feel in the moment that I feel it. There was this time where I was at this bar having this meeting with this girl, and this bartender was just giving me the eyes and just kept giving me these blueberry mojitos or something. And the bar was kind of empty. So I was like, I'm gonna go use the bathroom. And I'm like, there's no toilet paper in the bathroom. There was. So I was like, there's no toilet paper in the bathroom. And so he's like, oh, okay, I got you. And so
This is a good story, y'all.
and he come to get me the toilet paper, and we end up in the freezer. In the freezer.
Jay, I put big screen.
I'll
Big
cheers to
screen.
that. I guess I never had a whole phase then because what in the...
I'm gonna have sex in the freezer if I want to have sex with the freezer.
Sometimes.
You know what I mean? Now I could get down. I got a sex positive family. Okay. I come from a sex positive mother. I'm one of 7. She got all different daddies. Okay. Trying to make me crazy.
Oh,
Period.
okay.
Now, why your mama kept you straight?
She know what it is.
I feel like it's totally opposite for me in the sense like I really do agree that women should have a whole phase. Every time I've tried to have a whole phase, I always run into somebody with a very small penis.
Oh
Every
my
time.
God, that's awful.
And it's just like, I feel like that's
You a house or
God.
move on.
Yeah, no, I can't. I can't. I remember last year, literally, I tried it back to back. I was like, okay, Lord. And mind you, I was down in Jamaica.
Jesse,
You don't have no small penis in Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Jesse, we want to know. Jesse, we want to know.
How small?
We want to know.
Yeah, how
Oh,
small?
He was too small.
And see, I had a whole
Like,
phase
on
later
the
on in life because I got married super young, and so it's like it's kind of hard to hoe at 40. You know what I mean? Like it's a little harder to hoe.
I know a lot of hoes.
Come to Atlanta, Tori. I'm
All the hoes is 40 and over.
It's just harder. Like the pickings are slimmer. You know.
But I
Put me on the big screen, JR. Put me on
Sound
the
like
big
they was
screen.
talking about
Put me
sex
on the
to
big
me.
screen, JR.
You were saying, well, no, that was on mic. I don't remember where it was, but you were saying how she needs to have a whole phase for you to like her or appreciate her.
For me to take her serious, you have to have had that whole phase at some point in your life.
Explain that to our viewing audience.
You had to experiment with that and realize, okay, I'm done with it. I don't want to do it no more. You had to have tested the waters of the whole phase.
All right, here's my question to you. How did you find out? How did you find out, Mr. I don't want to know?
No, I would 100% just say, have you had a whole phase? I don't need details.
So you do want to know?
No, I want to know that you had it. I don't want to know what it entails.
That means you want to know.
You can tell.
I want to know that you had it, yes.
Let's be real.
So you want to know.
You can absolutely tell.
Hey,
I said you don't have sex with everybody.
No, fuck that. That woman said her mama wasn't a hoe. She had 7 kids, 7 different men. Stop it.
what I said.
I love a good whole phase. I'm a believer of breakup
There's
whole
no
phase.
justification
Yeah,
for
especially
moving like
That
that.
was my last one. before
Yeah, now
this.
I don't agree with having going on a whole phase and just sleeping with everybody. I don't agree with that, but I do understand like you dating somebody and then you guys having sex, but just to randomly just constantly keep having sex with multiple people back to back to back to back, That's excessive.
That's not a whole
That's a
phase.
definition
not
of
a
a
whole
whole phase.
Having a
That's the
boyfriend.
definition of a
not-
whole phase. They
that's
just
not a whole
explained
phase
it
is
in
sleeping
great
with multiple
detail.
people after back to back to back and sleeping with whoever, whenever,
No,
whatever.
that's not a whole
That's a whole phase.
They literally
They just
describe what they
described
thought a
it.
whole-
But those women, the collective
No.
women, the
Nah,
collective.
no.
If you were to bring,
Take your
other women up here, and also I want to point this out. The lady with the short haircut that was saying that she went in there, she was having sex. She is actually, let me see. I have a lot of gay friends. I have gay siblings. I have gay brothers, gay sisters. That community is completely different. The way
Still a
they
hoe.
view. Yeah, I get it.
Still a
But
hoe.
I'm just saying, because she was talking, she's gay. So that community is different. They
Nope.
kind of look at
Still a
sex
hoe.
way different than we look at sex, right?
If you
I
say
can't.
Homegirls was talking about
everybody knows
penises
what a
though.
hoe is.
It's all about language.
Unless you are in that community, you wouldn't get what I'm saying, right? Like I said, I'm around gay people, so that's different. But I don't agree with having sex with multiple people. But that's not a whole.
Everybody's listening.
Hold on, y'all.
Everybody in that
We're in an
video.
era.
Everybody in that
Everybody
video is
has
a
to
hoe.
have a
Every
level of
woman that try to defend it
understanding with the
it
kind
has
of
a hoe
words and
mentality.
language that you use. So when we hear the word hoe, everybody has, for the most part, majority of people are going to have the same image of what hoe looks like, right? A word is a symbol for something that means something, right? So we all have to come to a collective agreement of what we think hoe is. When we start trying to put different definitions to what it is, you can think of it as a minority, in a minority sense of, well, a whole phase is just dating. If that's the case, then you would say, I'm going through a dating phase. You would use the word dating phase because dating looks totally different than hoeing. Those are two different things. So when you say I'm going through a whole phase, most people are going to think that the whole phase means you're having sex with a bunch of different people. If you're saying I'm going through a dating phase, that means you're dating. Sex is not necessarily a part of the process. You're dating to get to learn what different type of men that you like. They specifically use the word hoe, and that entails a different meaning.
I think it also depends on the crowd that you're around. Like for me, I can kind of
around hoes, they not gonna call it a hoe. I
can kind of code switch, right? So it's like I have friends that's like more like street and edgy, where I'll use like slang and stuff like that, and it means the same thing. But for instance, if I'm around my older friends, that's like I still have friends that's married and stuff like that, I'll use a different language. But I feel like all of them was like comfortable, right? So that's the language that they were using. It doesn't necessarily mean
Well,
for
this the
them.
language I'm gonna use.
But for them, some of them basically saying like they was just sleeping whatever. But to me, when I speak to my friends, and I don't know, I think I'm younger than everybody on here, but that's not the people in my age group and the women that I'm around. When we speak about like, oh yeah, it was the whole phase or whatever, it's not about sleeping with a whole bunch of men. Like that's not.
We're just saying that's what it universally means. Even
right.
If I don't think we could really redefine that. We all understand, and you might be younger, but I be outside, so can't nobody really tell me. I'm more hip than like teenagers, right? Hold on.